Hello, my name is Jason Diaz. I'm a neurodivergent existential psychologist and author, and today I'm here to talk to you about Carrie Vaughn's novel Bannerless. The audio review here is a little bit on the late side. I read this last year. There's a sequel out. Definitely consider picking up Bannerless and the sequel. They will both be worth your time. So, Bannerless is, I'm going to call it straight up literary fiction. Um, it lives in the post-apocalyptic fiction field, but there's a lot of the elements that usually go with post-apocalyptic fiction that aren't really here. That genre tends to focus on, it's teenagers with special powers, and they come of age, and then they get grouped in some way, typed in some way. Thinking of the Divergent series, thinking of Katniss Everdeen, right? You're inducted into this part of society, and you have to make a choice, and that choice really affects your status as hero. All that stuff is missing from Bannerless, although clearly an apocalypse has happened and society has fallen apart and reemerged in a radically different fashion. It also fits in with some maybe cozy detective would be a fine place to sort it if we were doing that. It has those elements. There's a murder. The murder needs to be solved. There isn't any technology with which to solve the murder. It has to be done through relationships and inquiry and intelligence. But really, really, where this thing lives is literary, because the main conflicts, the main problem solving, and the main outcomes are all reside in the character of the main character. Here, the world is really a main character as much as the people in it. We have great story. We have great world building, which is central but not distract. So in some ways, this is a coming of age story. The main struggles appearing external, solving the mystery, but really internal to the protagonist, who's a strong and relatably human woman. She's gone through some life. She's lived a little. She's had relationships in the past that bear on the current problem. And all this is bound up together with a ribbon of wistfulness. There's sadness over what is passed on, sadness over the loss of an age. The wistful air present here is not in all of these zombie and cannibal movies and post-apocalypse stuff that's become popular. Those tales seem quite rageful, quite cynical, and you can see people emerging into adulthood or even emerging into their 30s in the modern age without the job prospects that their parents had, without confidence in the environment to continue to sustain us that their parents had. That would make that kind of stuff, Maze Runner and so on, would make that very popular. But this is something else. Bannerless is something else entirely. It's something past nostalgia. It's a yearning, perhaps, that people get over their selves and become good. This story has nothing at all to do with Lord of the Rings. But when I'm reading Bannerless, I get the same feeling as when I'm reading the sad parts of Return of the King. Arwen electing to stay in the world as a mortal woman because love is worth it, is worth dying for, right? Because an immortal life without love would just be pointless. When I read about Tom Bombadil receding from the world because his age has ended, that sadness is contained in the prose of Bannerless much more than in the elements of the story. This elegant writing that conveys this feeling, at least to me, without ever mentioning it. Since we're on Lord of the Rings, Liv Tyler. Liv Tyler, to me, she always looks sad, whether she's sad or not. Like half of her beauty is in the notion that those eyes could start to leak tears just at any second at the drop of a hat. She even looks sad when she's smiling, and laughing and ostensibly happy. And that look, I think, is something that's wrapped up in Carrie Vaughn's prose here, that the prose itself could start to leak tears at any second, even when what Carrie's writing about isn't necessarily sad. And to me, that's very beautiful. The writing is clear, it's concise, it's unobtrusive, and nevertheless poetic. There's a level of literary poetry that I myself aspire to and usually fail to evoke. Of all the books I read in 2017, I think this one's my favorite, and probably is going into rotation for rereading, especially as there's a sequel out right now. So that's Bannerless, Carrie Vaughn, and you should definitely pick up that book. Give it a read. Let us know what you think about it. So I'm Jason Diaz, and my website is jasondiazauthor.com. Consider giving me a visit too. Okay, bye for now.